here we are again, talking about joining the dots. Let me start with this. How much are you visualizing your perfect outcome at the moment? How much time do you spend visualizing, hearing, feeling, reading about the wonderful way that your life can unravel or be or develop or evolve? How much time are you dedicating to your love, your inner light, and the beauty of the world and everything that is right with the world? How much time? Because as always, we're in a strange time, to say the least. And I often wonder about evil. As you know, I talk about evil, demons. You look at the demonic behaviour on earth and you look at the angelic, beautiful behaviour of some. And it's choice, isn't it? It doesn't matter where you are from, what your skin colour is, what gender you are, who you love, okay? It doesn't matter. Politics, it doesn't matter if you're a Tory, Conservative, if you vote ANC here or EFF, it doesn't matter. The matter is the inner light, the inner the choices on the inside that you're making and how you are amplifying those choices of you, who you are, who you want to be, what you want to say, how you want to act. Because this will all help in the massive new age that is being birthed right now. Now, in my opinion, and I'm kind of laughing because I don't often say this stuff kind of openly. My very close friends know stuff about me, but I don't often say this. But in my opinion, and not just my opinion actually, a lot of people who kind of have been following this for a while know there's a war on. There is a war on. It's not with guns and like it was in the old days. There's a war on for your soul, your sovereignty, your mind, your very light. There's a war on, and there has been for a long time. You think of the history of the world. When was there ever a time when there's peace and tranquility and not famine or pestilence and disease? It's very hard, isn't it, to think of a time throughout the ages that hasn't been plagued by something. And it's a good thing to think now and again, because you think dark forces have been fighting to control the earth for a long time. And the dark forces come from within us. I also happen to believe there are other dark forces of evil that are roaming the earth, and demonic forces brought into the earth by certain practices of certain people. I mean, if any of you saw my posting on Facebook a while ago about adrenochrome and the blood thing that's going on, clinics that set up to take blood from young people and give it to older people for regeneration purposes. Well, I'm not going to go into all of it because I want to keep it light. I am solution based. But this whole thing about love and hate and good and evil, if people chose to love and people chose to first love themselves, there would be a great wave like there is happening all over the globe. There wouldn't be people killing other people. There wouldn't be the hate. They would see the vulnerability in other people, see the struggle that every single person goes through, see the worry that every single person goes through. Whether you live in a simple 1-bedroom little cottage or shack, you can be the happiest person. Whether you could be living on the edge of the sea in a mansion with 12 bedrooms, you could be very unhappy. This whole thing of this global divide and what it makes people do, when division is really kind of stirred up And you look at the ancestral messages that come through. You look back to your ancestors and you go, okay, what did you get right? Why does this keep perpetuating? Why do we keep falling for the same manipulation and the same propaganda? One person hates another person. One person invades someone else's country. One person has to take what isn't theirs. Okay? It comes down to this wonderful choice of living your light, living your love, choosing love over fear. I mean, just think now, if you thought if all day long, I think I've said this before, if all day long on every newspaper and every news channel you had people talking about the love, how people were getting on, the great help that was going on in neighbourhoods, you know, the support that was going on between communities and religious communities and racial communities, and how everyone was just getting along. Imagine the effect that would have on the world. But we don't have that, and there's a war on, okay? And the war it seeks to perpetuate your fear. It seeks to polarize. It seeks to disempower. It seeks to control, make you compliant and obedient, which is where joining the dots comes in. You know, in South Africa, we've had for 8 weeks a cigarette ban, an alcohol ban. You couldn't buy, you couldn't buy sheets, but you could buy towels, or the other way around. You can't buy short sleeve t-shirts, but you can buy long sleeve. You can't buy open toed shoes, but you can buy, you know, the other sort. And it's that illogical stuff that you have to go in intuitively into yourself and go, is this right? Does this seem like common sense? Does this seem logical? You know, logic is about reasoning. It's the truth and false reasoning that we have. You know, illogical, the false reasoning or no reason, coming up to a decision for no reason. I'd love to ask someone, why would you ban someone going on the beach when it's one of the most wonderful things for health and happiness with your dog? You know, why would anyone ban that? Does that seek to perpetuate love or fear? Okay, does that seek to empower people or disempower people? And you have to kind of say to yourself, why does the global elite want to disempower humans? Who benefits from that? This is the kind of questions I always like to kind of roll around my head, not always, now and again. You know, what agenda's going on? What use are humans when they're disempowered, crushed, ruined financially, ruined emotionally? You know, you've forced them in families together. You've got mass domestic violence going on. You've got suicides going on. You've got people who aren't going to hospitals to get treatments, or even if they've got new diseases, they're not going because it's fear, it's fear, it's fear. For what end? What end does it? Who benefits from the whole human race being in fear? Who benefits? It's quite, just ask yourself that. I've got a few ideas. And it's like the second wave thing. If Mr. Kipling, for those of you who don't know, is a cake manufacturer in the UK, if he's still going, a cake manufacturer of my youth. So if Mr. Kipling brought out a cake in January, and then people were kind of enjoying this cake, and then Mr. Kipling says, oh, there might be another cake coming out soon. Do people not think that the second wave, therefore, is already orchestrated, already on its way, already in place? Mr. Kipling wouldn't be bringing out a second cake if he hadn't done a lot of research and a lot of testing and wanted people to enjoy it. I'd much rather talk about cake than obviously anything else. So this first video is just to get you think. The war, the profits. I mean, that's the thing about war, the profit from war. War is a very, very profitable, as you probably know, a very profitable and fortunate event. Certain types of people love making money off war and death and seek to create weapons that can do more, you know, sonic weapons, light weapons, laser weapons. It's like all the beautiful healing that can be done with sound and light and other types of energy. It's amazing, isn't it? And again, because of the choice certain humans make, it gets used for for darkness, for demonic purposes. And another thing I'll say before I finish this first video, not very joyful, but I will carry on with the solution, because I like that. But during this lockdown in America, you had alcohol stores were still open in America, I believe, and churches were shut, as were mosques, as were synagogues, places of worship, okay? And you basically still had abortion clinics open. Now, at the time, you think, well, that seems a bit strange. People can't go to church, but you can get an abortion. Now, I understand if there's big problems and there's, a danger, then unfortunately it has to take place. But as you probably know, there's a lot of elective abortions that really aren't that necessary. But then I suppose if it goes past a certain way, then you've got to have a child, and it could be chaotic. But I just thought it was just bizarre. Alcohol stores, liquor stores as they're called there, and abortion clinics open, churches, synagogues, mosques shut. Does that seem logical? Does that seem normal? So start thinking, take away any prejudice you have around political groups or people or whatever, and just go, look at the elite, look at what they're doing, look at the global script that's been rolled out. Everyone's got to do the same. I love the countries that are just going, no, we'll do our own thing, thanks. I love it. I love seeing the countries that's just going, no, we're not ruining our economy. I don't really see how that's going to help anything. So let's leave it there, but start asking the questions, and then we'll talk about the wave of light. And again, I know I talk about this a lot, but how you can be the wave of light, and start by cutting down your listening to the propaganda, the people that seek to perpetuate fear. Find a source of love. Again, I say this, humour. Find something that is uplifting, light bearing, and if you can't find anything now, create something new. Write, sing, draw, write all your angst out on a piece of paper or on a computer, but get it out and start with the love, the wave of love.